can't succeed in this world. I don't care how technically brilliant you are in your field, how well you are at coding or whatever it is. If you don't understand people, you're going to neutralize all of your powers. What I thought that the root of this problem was a basic ignorance or misunderstanding of human nature, of the laws that govern human behavior, much like Sir Isaac Newton was looking at the laws that govern the movement of stars. And so I started devouring literature on the subject: neuroscience, evolutionary biology, psychology, psychoanalysis. And in the course of this research, I came upon three kind of discoveries that were very fundamental, that sort of grounded the book that came out of that. The first one was, I read that in neuroscience, people estimate that 95% of human behavior is unconscious. In other words, 95% of what we do never reaches the level of consciousness. We're not aware of what actually motivates our behavior. I thought this was rather startling. It's as if we possess a stranger inside of ourselves who's governing our behavior. The second fact I uncovered was that there are many kind of forces that came from our evolution hundreds of thousands and millions of years ago that are wired into our brains and how we operate. And a lot of these things came about evolutionarily for very adaptive purposes for where we were 500,000 years ago, but that don't have much purpose for where we are right now in the 21st century. These elemental forces that are very primitive, I call human nature. These are the forces that basically determine a lot of what we do. And so much of this very primitive stuff is actually intersecting us in the 21st century and determining a lot of the problems that we're encountering now. The third thing I discovered is that basically the human brain that all of us possess is remarkably similar, each of us. In other words, there's very little difference between the brain you possess and somebody in some other country who's had a different cultural background. And the reason is that we all evolved from the same origins, the same source, hundreds of thousands of years ago, well before the spreading out of humans all around the globe. So the qualities, these forces that I'm talking about here now about human nature, they are within all of us. They are governing all of our behavior. Nobody is accepted from this, from these laws.